Who said finding cheap motor insurance had to be hard? You can make finding cheap insurance easier with mustard.co.uk. Compare your car, van or bike insurance quickly and easily online. Plus, with the cheapest online price guarantee, you know you're being looked after. For an insurance quote that cuts the mustard, choose mustard.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Details online. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
Clyde One's Super Scoreboard podcast with Taggart's Volvo, part of the Lookers family. Be ready for any journey. Book now for service and repairs. 0141 951 1025. It's time to talk football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good evening and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard as we find out who will make it to the League Cup semi-finals. First up, it's holders Celtic taking their defence of the trophy to Motherwell. The late kick-off sees Rangers welcome Dundee, and in between times Aberdeen kick off against Partick Thistle as they all look to join Kilmarnock in the last four. I'm Gordon Duncan. Joining me tonight is Simon Donnelly and Marvin Bartley.
Yeah, midweeks are always so much better when there's football on, competitive football. Obviously we're watching Motherwell Celtic up first, Gordon, so we know where your alliances lie, so hopefully Celtic beat them. But no, just look forward to the games later on, especially the Aberdeen Partick Thistle. Partick Thistle have been going really well this season. Obviously Pittodrie is a very difficult place to go, but no, looking forward to that game.
Well, we know where Simon's lie as well, so you only referee us two for the next...
Another of my ex-teams is in the Partick.
That is true, that is true. I love this stage of the League Cup, Simon, because it comes upon you very quickly and you've got the chance to make it to Hampden already. You know, if you're Motherwell, Aberdeen, Partick Thistle, Dundee, and then it's a whole other type of pressure on Celtic and Rangers because you didn't go out at this stage.
Absolutely, but it's a great opportunity, as you say. Kilmarnock, a great result last night. Derek McInnes back in the Premiership, but they're in a semi-final, and as I said, my old team going really well in the Championship. You know, Aberdeen have had some good results as well. It'll be a difficult night for Partick, but I don't see it being a walk in the park for Aberdeen. Bit
of a strange night scheduling wise. How often do we have a midweek 6:15 kick-off domestically? Not too often. I don't think I can remember any, and I certainly can't remember any 8:15 kick-offs. So that's the story for Rangers Dundee, and in between times Aberdeen Partick Thistle. So the Celtic trip to Motherwell will be on for the majority of the show. You can get in touch, you can take us through it with you. 01419511025. For you Rangers fans heading along to Ibrox, a bit more of a traditional build-up for you on Clyde One Super Scoreboard. So who do you want to see tonight? That seems like a good talking point. Is it a night for Robbie McCrory in goal? Is it a night for finally to see more of Ridvan Yilmaz at left back? Is it a night to see Alfredo Morelos lead the line? Is it a night to see Kemar Roof come back and play some football after missing out since the Europa League final? What do you want to see, Rangers fans? Because we know there will be changes. It's lower league opposition at home, with no disrespect to Dundee. So Rangers fans, if you're on your way to the game, who do you want to see tonight? 01419511025. 1025. Motherwell and Celtic fans, you might have time to squeeze in a call before kick-off, so please do. And we will go to Pittodrie later in the show as well to preview Aberdeen Partick Thistle. And one final point, of course, a Kilmarnock fan tweeting me earlier saying we didn't have any Kilmarnock fans on last night. Well, come on down. You're through to the League Cup semis, back to Hampden. 01419511025. What did you make of it last night? Let's get in touch on the phones. In the meantime, we are fast approaching kick-off at Fir Park. Let's speak to Andrew McLean.
Yeah, well, I've just been completely distracted there because you know how on the show Gordon DL says all the time, oh yeah, I'll be down at Fir Park, I'll be watching that game, and we all let him say it, and he never actually shows up. We all know that. Well, he is here. He is here in the stadium. He's just walked in with Mark Wilson as well. So two interested spectators on the go for this one tonight.
Motherwell and Celtic. Hold on a minute. They've let Wilson into the home end.
Wilson in the home end,
get him out.
So
get him out.
He'll be sitting on his hands over there. So who knows, if Motherwell score, then I'm sure Gordon DL will be giving him stick as well. So that'll be an interesting watch, probably as interesting as what's going to be happening on the pitch tonight as well. Motherwell and Celtic looking to join Kilmarnock and two others at Hampden after the World Cup break. You mentioned it there, it's a bit of an unconventional kick-off time, this, isn't it? I'm not sure I've ever covered a 6:15 start in my life, but it's all part of this double header that's on TV, and of course Aberdeen and Partick Thistle later on too. But as for the football, Stevie Hamill will be disappointed with the goals they conceded against Rangers at the weekend, but they still ran Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's side close. They've also not made it to Hampden since that 2017-18 season when they were runners up to Celtic in both cup competitions, so they'll be desperate to get back. Unsurprisingly, this is a competition Ange Postecoglou likes, after it was the first trophy he won after taking over at Celtic. A strong team for them tonight as well. That shows the manager is keen to make sure the trophy doesn't change hands this season. As for team news, 2 changes for Motherwell from the weekend. Morris and Tierney dropping out the starting lineup. Spittle and Shields come in. So it's Liam Kelly in goal for them. The back 4, Paul McGinn, Sondre Solholm, Ricky Lamy and Matt Penny. The midfield 3, Sean Goss, Callum Slattery and Blair Spittle, with Connor Shields and Stuart McKinstry supporting Kevin Van Veen up top. The substitutes: Oxborough, O'Donnell, Mugabe, Maguire, Cornelius, Morris, Tierney, Miller and Ferry. As for Celtic, 5 changes from that big victory against Hibs at the weekend. Out go Hart, Ralston, Bernabe, Forrest and Giacomakis. In comes Siegrist, Juranovic, Taylor, Abada and Kyogo. So Ben Siegrist in goal for them tonight. Josip Juranovic, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Moritz Jens and Greg Taylor are the back 4. Matt O'Reilly, Aaron Moy and Rayo Hatate the midfield 3. Leila Bada and Sead Haksabanovic either side of Kyogo. The substitutes: Hart, Giacomakis, McCarthy, Ideguchi, Bernabe, Abildgaard, Maida, Forrest and Ralston. The referee for this one at Fir Park tonight is Don Robertson.
Simon Donnelly, what does this League Cup mean to Celtic this season? Do you only have to look back to what it did for Ange Postecoglou, kick-starting everything last season?
Yeah, it means everything. It's the first tournament that they can win this year. They're defending it, and they touch on 5 changes there, but out with Siegrist, the other 4 were pretty much regulars last year. So it's a strong squad, it's a strong team, and Celtic Rangers, these are the tournaments that they're expected to win year after year. So it's a big night. It'll be interesting to see how Motherwell will go about it. We were talking before we came on air there. I think they didn't really have a go at the weekend. I thought Rangers were possibly there on the back of the disappointment from midweek to go and have a go at, and I don't really think they did. I know the scoreline suggests it was closer, but it wasn't really, so it'll be interesting to see if they have a go tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I would be lying if I didn't have a small hope that Ange Postecoglou would rest a few more players. Marvin, I had a bit of a laugh with some friends or Motherwell fans looking at the strength of that Celtic team. As Simon said, without Jota being fit, and there's an obvious change in goal, other than that might be about as strong as Celtic have got at the moment. Yeah, you can argue about Giacomakis and others, but it's certainly up there. Yeah,
no, most definitely. I totally agree with you. But you even look on their bench, and if you had made 2 or 3 more changes, there's still quality players coming in. I think Celtic don't have. It's not only just a great starting 11; it's the actual squad and the depth they have within that. Players coming in today, like you said, 5 including Siegrist. They want to come in and perform because they want to keep their place in the team. So, listen, it's going to be a tough night for Motherwell. As Simon said, I think they would come off disappointed against Rangers, which is a strange thing to say after only losing the game 2-1, but I think they had more within them. I think they should have had more belief within that game. And out with, the Hearts game, they lost 3-0, which actually they performed in really, really well. They've only ever lost by 1 goal. It's only been by 1 goal with Hamilton being there. So they're going in the right direction. But it should be a massive game, a key game for them. But I think Celtic might have too much.
Why not? We might be able to squeeze, we will be able to squeeze in a call before kick-off if you call right now. So any Motherwell or Celtic fans presumably not in the stadium, sitting down to watch it on TV or listen to us, why not quickly get in touch? Celtic fans, did you expect to go that strong? It's Tynecastle at the weekend. Would you have expected the changes tonight? Or in fact, is the weekend when James Forrest comes back in, for instance? Give us all your pre-match thoughts quickly, because it does kick off in 5 minutes. And Rangers fans, you've got a bit more time, but if you're heading along to Ibrox tonight, let's hear from you right now on the phones as well. Who do you want to see tonight? Surely some fringe players will get a chance. Which ones? What do you want to see from your team? 01419 511025. Marvin, listening to Simon talking about it being the first trophy, it's the chance to get a marker down, if you like, certainly for Celtic in a lot of recent seasons. It's been the first part of a treble as well. That's why it's important. There are other countries where they don't take their cup competition so seriously, but the sort of Goldfish Bowl up here, it doesn't it doesn't allow for Celtic to go out tonight or Rangers to go out tonight without getting a serious amount of criticism, does it?
Yeah, most definitely. Like you said, kind of down the road it's a bit easier in the League Cup and you see teams make 10, 11 changes and bring a few kids in. But when you play for teams the size of Celtic and Rangers, and as you said in the Goldfish Bowl, you have to win every game, League and both cups. And Ange's brought into that most definitely. I think it creates a great kind of breeding ground to want success, to want more trophies, to have that kind of ambition within the squad. If you put out as strong a team as he has today. And listen, as I said, it's the first thing for Celtic. They want to win that. Rangers are exactly the same, and you hope to win the league and then the Scottish Cup after that as well. So listen, it's a massive, massive game for them today. But it's not just about today, it's about getting to the final and then winning the final.
It was talk about tough places to go, Simon, and it kind of gets thrown out there. It's a bit of a cliche because it happened at the weekend as well. Then you realise that Motherwell's home record against Rangers in the league is
I remember listening to what was
20 years in the league. There was the playoff victory,
I remember that,
in 2015 of course, but
so out with that 20 years.
I think it's not quite as long against Celtic, but it's still not brilliant. And I wonder, something as simple as how good that pitch is now. You talk about going to certain venues and things that can make it tough, and Motherwell get praised for all the right reasons because you want a good pitch. But if you're Celtic, you're loving that tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you fall into that false sense of it's a difficult place to go. I remember it was really difficult for me to go as a player, but that's yonks ago. And the pitch there was a slope on it. It was always sandy. It was a difficult place. And Motherwell had some good players as well, but you're absolutely right. Celtic will relish playing on that tonight. I think they soaked it at the weekend against Rangers as well. So teams like Celtic will like that slick surface to go and play against. But it's a terrible record actually. When I was watching the game at the weekend, I couldn't believe it was that long since they got a result against Rangers.
Marvin, what do you make of the way Ange Postecoglou's using this squad then? Traditionally, I mean, look at one of the previous rounds in Ross County. That's when he made all those changes, but not tonight.
Yeah, listen, he knows.
He has made changes, but you know what I mean. He's still in a strong team.
Yeah, and he knows it's a difficult place, as Simon said there. Yes, we're talking about the pitch, but Motherwell is still another strong Premier League team. So yes, he's made changes. He's made obviously the right amount of changes in his mind that they can still go out and win the game. Obviously, without being disrespectful to Ross County, he felt he could make more changes, and he's proved right. They went and won it. But there'll be massive pressure on those players coming in. As I said, every time you put on that shirt for Celtic, you're expected to win. We've seen it in the Champions League, let alone in the League Cup, which is a kind of domestic competition. They're expected to win these games of football, and that's the pressure you have to deal with at Celtic. So these players that came in today have to go out there and perform, because guess what? If you don't go out there and perform, you won't be playing on Saturday.
A real theme of Celtic's success under Ange Postecoglou has been quick start. Simon, is that if you are Motherwell or any other opposition in a game like this, is your only hope to survive the quick start? Maybe,
but again, you're playing against players, no disrespect to Motherwell, of a higher quality. I was at the game at the weekend, and Haksabanovic started the game unbelievably well. He actually took the game by the scruff of the neck and created the first goal. He was involved in all the good play. He only lasted the 45, but he's back in tonight. So they have to beware of the fast start from Celtic as they just work it down the left here.
Game underway. So I know the way this works, Celtic fans, you will be listening for the updates. You might be watching on TV as well, but if you want to shout at us rather than shout at the TV, Motherwell fans, come on down and get in touch. It's a bit weird when we're on and there's a game for the full duration of the show. But 01419511025, and Rangers fans, come on, let's hear from you. Who do you want to see when you go to Ibrox tonight? Kilmarnock fans, you are not off the hook. What did you make of it last night? Actually, an early attack for Motherwell as they try and make something happen. The cross is a little bit overhit though. That'll be, I'm sure, a real frustration. To answer your question, Simon, from a Celtic perspective, 28th of April 2013 was the last time Motherwell beat Celtic at Fir Park.
So that's 9 years. It's a long time, and we do get caught up sometimes. It's a tough place to go. It's a tough place to go, but it doesn't really portray that with 9 years undefeated there.
Those players will be aware of that as well. The players starting today, they'll be aware of that record, and the last thing you want to do is be in that starting 11 that kind of breaks that run. So that's a never added pressure. But as I said, when you play for big clubs, you hold records like that.
What have you made of Haksabanovic, Marvin? I wonder if he's now arguably in the full strength best starting 11 for Celtic at the moment?
It's so difficult because the other man who plays down that side for me at this moment in time is the best player in the league.
Jota.
Yeah, if Jota's not ahead of him, then listen, I think he starts for any other team down that left hand side. For me, he's a top quality player, and the time he's been given, how quickly he's adapted. He's a constant threat for right backs, no doubt about it. And I'm sure if Celtic can get him and Jota flying full steam ahead either side,
I think they'll play
together
in the same team. Yeah. I've been really impressed with him. I think he's going to stamp his authority on.
Who goes down the right for you?
I don't know, but he played central against St Johnstone.
Yeah,
I thought he was Celtic's best player.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ange will find a play. I think this guy can probably play along the front.
But even
three.
we beat St Johnstone. You can't fit him on that.
I think he can play along the front three and play it in they call it the number 10. I think he's got a few strings to his bow, but I think he will cement his place in the 11.
Quite the conversation when James Forrest scored a hat-trick at the weekend and goes through the 100 goals.
This is brilliant for Ange having. He's from midfield to front. He's got a lot of select, but I just feel this guy from. I think the first game was against Ross County when he came off the bench up there at Dingwall. I think he adds something to the team. I think he'll play more often than not.
Looks like a fairly decent crowd. I did wonder, we know the way these things work, TV companies get to have a major influence. I did wonder if you're trying to get home from your working time and go to a 6:15 kickoff, maybe not easy. Looks decent enough. And I had to laugh when Andrew was telling us that Gordon Dale and Mark Wilson are there together, right? Because there's a bit of an ongoing joke, well, it's not a joke, it's serious on the show, where I say I know what they're up to at all times. People always tell me they've seen them in this place or that place. In the last couple of weeks, I've spotted Mark Wilson getting a parking ticket. I know where Gordon Dalziel goes for his evening walk.
You have spies
everywhere. And honestly, as soon as they got within 200 yards of Fir Park tonight, someone sent me a picture of him in the street. So I already knew before Andrew broke the news to us. But anyway, 01419511025. We're taking you through Motherwell Celtic, which is goalless after 4 minutes. Rangers fans heading to Ibrox, getting ready to watch it on the TV. Who do you want to see tonight? We will hear from you next. The Super Scoreboard podcast is sponsored by Taggart's Motor Group. Taggart's have Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. And as Taggart's are part of the Lookers family, one of the largest franchise dealer groups in the UK, you can browse thousands of nearly new and used vehicles in stock nationwide to find your perfect vehicle. They've also launched Click and Sell. It makes selling your car simple by using their trusted dealer network of over 150 sites. Why not give it a go today? See how much you could make on your old car. Taggart's have Land Rover showrooms in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showrooms found in Hillington. Check out taggarts.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now let's get back to the podcast.
You are the voice of Scottish football. Call 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Simon Donnelly and Marvin Bartley are about to be joined by Stuart from Kilmarnock on the line, but very quickly, since we've got a strange early kickoff, let me just bring you up to speed. Almost 10 minutes gone. It's Motherwell 0, Celtic 0. Celtic have had a couple of openings, Simon, rather than chances. Would that be fair?
Yeah, no real chances. Abada get in. I think it was Kyogo played him in on the right hand side, and if you'd just taken a wee bit more care with his cross, I think it was Hatate breaking into the box, but it was overhit. It came to Haksabanovic at the back post and his shot was blocked. But no real clear-cut chances so far.
And since it's the week for this type of rhetoric, Marvin, the only break Motherwell have had saw the flag go up against Kevin Van Veen. Come Saturday in the Premiership, would VAR have shown you that he was onside?
Yeah, I think the referee's assistant would have kept his flag down, obviously, from Saturday going forward. So yeah, some interesting things. I imagine some of the referees or assistant referees might be putting their flags up and forgetting that they have VAR to back them up. So probably happening.
Oh, that'll be good. That'll be good fun.
Perfect.
Right, anyway, 01419511025. Still goalless at Fir Park. Celtic on top, as you would expect, but without really creating too much yet. Let's bring in Stuart then, who's a Rangers fan. We're asking all you Rangers fans, who do you want to see tonight? There must be some level of squad rotation after the last 7 days. But who do you want to see? Stuart, what are you thinking?
Well, tonight, guys, I'd like to see young Robbie McCrory in goals. Simple fact. I'm sorry, guys, I'm trying to drive about Kilmarnock and I've took the wrong road. I'm going down into cars. No, I'd like to see McCrory in goals, as I don't think McLaughlin is the answer for when McGregor decides to hang the gloves up. If you look at last season, when we played McCrory against Celtic, he never let us down. We won that game, and he didn't look as though the match fazed him. For me, McLaughlin's not the answer. Some fans might disagree, but I just don't think he's the one. But he's already signed a new deal. So to me, that tells me that they have plans for him. So I'm just hoping tonight's the night that he gets his chance to prove that he is McGregor's backup. No disrespect to McLaughlin, as he has got the ability, but I just don't think he's a Rangers quality.
It's an interesting one, that, Marvin, because from a sort of managing the players' perspective, you know, John McLaughlin was clearly the number one goalie at the start of the season. He then got injured. That was it. He got injured, and Al McGregor came in and has stayed in. So in terms of keeping John McLaughlin happy, you would expect him to play tonight. But Stuart's got a slightly different take on it. What do you learn by playing John McLaughlin tonight?
I don't think you learn anything. Everyone knows, you know, what he can and can't do. And definitely the manager. I just think, you know, unless it's been sorted that Robbie McCrory is always going to play in the League Cup, then I think McLaughlin has to play in goal. Because I think what you lose is somebody thinking, well, hang on, like you said, I was number one. I'm on the bench week in, week out in the league, and then all of a sudden I'm not playing in the Cup. I can't see Robbie McCrory playing. I think it'll be a very, very difficult one for Gio unless... Kyogo just missed
Kyogo has missed an
yards.
Absolute sitter.
Wow.
Does the flag go up to spare his blushes? It actually came after a good break from Motherwell, and it was as close as they've come. It then goes down the right. Hatate flashes it across from right on the 6 yard line. I don't think the flag does go up.
I don't think it was.
That is an absolute sitter from Kyogo, Simon.
Yeah, I think it hits his heel. I'd like to look at it again. I think there's the Motherwell chance just before that.
Why does McKinstry not just pull the trigger a bit earlier?
Yeah, he cuts in. Lad that scored at the weekend, he cuts back in here and he wants to go again, and it just allows O'Reilly, I think, to get the block in. But I'd like to see the Kyogo one again. Does he just creep offside?
No, I don't think he does.
I think if
So it's a hell of a chance. It's just came off his left heel, I think.
Sure, what do you make of Marvin's response in terms of how you're handling John McLaughlin? I know you say you don't think he's the future, but can you see why Giovanni Van Bronckhorst might well play him tonight?
I do see why he might play him tonight, but like I said, if they're young enough, I've not said it to you guys, but I've said it to my kids, if they're young enough, they're good enough and young enough, then they should be playing in the game. Like tonight, I'd like to see McCann play, because I think he offers us more going forward. Because just now, if you look at the team and how Rangers are attacking, there's like no motivation, there's no drive, no determination. Compared to last year when we played the teams in Europe, we outplayed most of them. From the majority of the game, yeah, the teams did come back at us and gave us a game, but that drive and determination got us to the Europa League final. It's no there this year, and I don't understand why.
What do you make of that, Marvin? You've obviously come up against Rangers and you'll have had them watched closely all week. In fact, well, for a couple of weeks, but particularly this week, there's been this debate about Rangers' style and level of performance. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst was asked yesterday and he said our style is to attack. Sometimes it's easier than others, and Stuart puts it as more of like the intensity, or words to that effect, is missing this season. You agree?
It's a hard one, because I think they've won their last 5 league games. So, you know, you're talking about style, and I get it. Obviously, Stuart watches them week in, week out, and fans always have kind of an idea of what they want to see from their team. Listen, there's no doubt about it. Rangers have stuttered at times this season, but there's still some very, very good players within there. And watching them, you know, if 6 or 7 of those players turn up, you're in for a very, very difficult afternoon. Thinking about today's game, it's a difficult one, because this is Dundee's Cup final, by the way. You know, and what Rangers can't afford to happen is to go out. And I get you wanting to make the changes. I'm wanting to see some young players. But if Rangers are to lose this game today, that's massive alarm bells ringing going forward.
I try not to be disrespectful to Dundee, so let's just talk about any championship, any championship opposition. Does the Ibrox factor not swing it? You know, if this was at Dens, you would take the point, but surely Rangers can make some changes for this game.
Yeah, no, they can make changes, but I don't think they can make too many changes, because as I said, they can't afford to lose, and Dundee are going to raise their game. You know, those players within that dressing room are going to be saying, you know, if we can get the crowd against the players, they're going to expect to come out and beat us and steamroller us. If you start putting in 3 or 4 young boys, and no, without being disrespectful to them, it's a very, very difficult night, and all of a sudden it's 0-0 at half time or 0-0 after 60 minutes. It becomes a cauldron for them, and it becomes a tough night for them. They can't afford to lose this game.
What do you make of the goalkeeping one tonight? Simon Stewart says quite simply he doesn't rate John McLaughlin to take over from Alan McGregor.
Yeah.
And Robbie McCrory did sign a new deal at the club, so I take on board what Marvin said about John McLaughlin. But if you're Robbie McCrory and you don't play tonight, when do you play?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think at the start of the season, as you say, McLaughlin he was the number one choice, and went out through injury. And for me, McGregor's still the best goalkeeper. He's proved that. He's wrestled that jersey back. It's his now. Tonight, do you get much out of bringing the lad in? I'm not sure. I'm with Marv in terms of changes tonight. I think I don't see Rangers slipping up at all, first and foremost, but should that be a disaster? They can't afford it. It's a quarter final of the Cup. You only have to look at the side that Celtic have put out here. I think Rangers go strong tonight.
Yeah,
whether that means McCrory coming in, I don't know. I'd be surprised.
Anything else, Stuart? I mean, one look at social media tells you Rangers fans generally are desperate to see more of Rid van Yilmaz. Again, is he one that comes into the equation tonight?
I get what the guys are saying. Too much changes in a League Cup can throw the game, especially with being Dundee's Cup final. But for me, if you're playing for Rangers and you're not giving 110%, there's the door. But we've spent a lot of money on Yilmaz, so I would expect him to get some game time. I get that he's young and he needs to settle into the new city, the new way of how Rangers expect you to win every game and stuff like that. But again, you go with Barisic. But for me, again, I want my team to attack. Barisic passes the ball back far too often. The intensity is not there for me. So personally, I'd play Yilmaz because I think he drives forward more than what Barisic does at the moment. I just think the whole team's lacking in confidence. I don't know how we're going to get it back.
Yilmaz has started 2 of the 19 games that Rangers have played this season, Marvin. So even if there is the argument to say, well, he's got a long-term deal, he's fine, he's young, there's time, there's no rush. Again, you'd still be looking for him to play a big part in a game like tonight, would you not?
Yeah, I expect him to start tonight. There's no doubt about it. When you spend that sort of money on a fullback, and as Stuart said, there's all other things around it, settling in, getting used to the Rangers way. But without being disrespectful to Dundee, he has to be able to play in this game tonight and able to perform. He has to be able to perform to a level to show the fans, listen, this is a serious prospect we have on our hands. But yeah, I expect him to start tonight. Obviously, Barisic has probably had a harder time than a few recently. Obviously, with the Liverpool game, I know he was good at the weekend. So yeah, Yilmaz to come in tonight for me for sure.
Oh, hold on. Now, just to open a whole different can of worms.
What's he given?
When we get VAR, there will be no goal line technology anyway, right? So I'm not sure if it would have been cleared up. This is a live TV game, so maybe if there was VAR, Kyogo's hit one off the underside of the bar that he thinks dropped in. And we're getting another look at it. It come down off the bar and it doesn't. There we go.
Right
on the line. And then on the follow up, Abada
has hurt himself. But
Yeah.
I think Abada might have been creeping offside the initial
Yeah,
shot.
he's off. Yeah, it looks that way.
So certainly the closest Celtic have come. It was a stunning effort from Kyogo. Just
With
half
that
an
though,
inch too
Gordon,
high.
you see with the live games, will they not have the goal line stuff through the Sky cameras or something? I'm
Yeah,
pretty
there'll
sure.
be an
So
extra.
they'll be able to use it.
There'll be an extra camera view, but
Yeah.
not the ref doesn't wear the watch and it beeps automatically
can't
when
afford that,
when
yeah.
it tells you it's over the
They
line.
can't
So
afford that
I
yet.
heard that's expensive.
It's more expensive.
That's really expensive.
It's more
yeah.
expensive than VAR.
Probably more important as well.
Is it though?
Well, to define a goal or not,
How often in a season do you think that happens?
still could prove to be a major
No,
player.
no, absolutely. And then you
You
would
want to know if you've scored or not.
And we're going with the thick lines again as well. So
100%. But how?
VAR just
How
looks
often? How
for VAR
often do you
looks for
think?
opportunities to take the goal away time and time again.
By the way, no, VR still might be able to do it. You still be
Yeah.
able to look at the cameras and it might be able to tell you. I'm just talking about the automatic.
So that's more expensive, is it?
yeah,
Yeah, so you need to pay for that on top of VAR, which we've
It's
only
like a
just found the
package,
money
isn't it, your TV.
to fund. Anyway, Stuart, sorry, it's pretty difficult with the games going on. Overall, though, you won't be expecting any difficulties tonight, or are you? You sound like you're pretty down about the confidence levels and stuff at the moment.
I'm very down the way the team's playing. I mean, that's not Rangers of last season driving the teams and basically steamrolling over certain parts of the midfield. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a different style of play than Broncos is trying to implement, but the tappy stuff at the back, not just me, but it gives me butterflies. I just panic as soon as they do that, because it allows teams to press us, which for me Rangers should be pressing other teams. I get when we come up against quality teams the likes of Liverpool, Napoli, that's harder to do, but in Scotland I expect Rangers to be pressing teams and making them make the mistakes, not let the teams press us and put us to make mistakes. You thought when Broncos would have learnt his lesson back in February when Celtic steamrolled us at Parkhead. They've done it again this season. He's not learned his lesson for me in that one. I get Celtic are a better quality team than the likes of Dundee, Livingston, no disrespect to them. They don't have the money to spend like Celtic do. It's not the Rangers that I expect to see, and it's probably the same for a lot of other fans.
Well, we'll find out tonight, I guess. I do get the feeling, Simon, even if you do think this criticism at Rangers' performance level or style or whatever, even if you think it is over the top and it's unfair, for a large section of the Rangers fans, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst could be doing with a very straightforward evening.
Yeah,
you know, win is one thing, but I get the feeling that for fans like Stuart, they're looking for a bit more than that.
Fans will be turning up at Ibrox looking for a 3-4-5-0 win tonight, and that's no disrespect to Dundee. That's Rangers fans going there expecting their team to win. We touched on it at the start of the show about Celtic and Rangers expectations to win. Sometimes that's not just enough. It needs to be with style as well. So I think I agree with Stuart. I think there's a confidence crisis a wee bit going through the Rangers team. I watched the game at the weekend, but they got the job done. You know, it was a wee bit lacklustre, but they got the 3 points. They're sitting 2 points behind Celtic, and you only have to look. Celtic stuttered a couple of games there after the blazing start, but got back to, here's a chance here at the corner. They got back to that at the weekend, you know, scored 6 goals again. You can only really do that yourselves, work yourself through that little moment and get the confidence back.
Motherwell had a very mini spell of territory, but that Kyogo shot off the bar seems to have sparked some life into Celtic again, and they are coming forward quite regularly. We are a quarter of the way through the game though, and it is still Motherwell 0, Celtic 0. Thank you to Stuart. What about Gareth from Carlisle? Gareth, who do you want to see play for Rangers tonight?
I think Morelos will start. I would like to see Scott Wright getting a chance, because he's not really had much chance. He seems to be the kind of player that comes off the bench a lot, but I think he needs a good start. I think Yilmaz will start because we've paid a lot of money for him, so put him in. Tavernier, Sands in the back four, and I think that's probably the middle. I would say maybe Arfield, because he's not had much game time either, so give him a bit more. But obviously McCrory, I think he signed a new deal, so I think he should start, to be honest.
Morelos won, Marvin. I think he's got 34-ish, forgive my arithmetic, 34 minutes thereabouts, 35 minutes in the last 3 games, after getting the nod to start the match at Anfield. And for some reason, hold on, big chance.
It was off already.
Is the ball out of play?
Yeah, out of play.
Which I think is just as well for Stuart McKinstry, because I've got no possible idea why he takes that first time, Marvin.
He knew it was off. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt here, Gordon. No, I'm with you. I'm not sure why he didn't take a touch before putting it in. Maybe he thought that Seagrass was going to be able to get back across.
Whilst we keep moaning about VR, is that full ball across the line?
Very, very tight.
Yes, it didn't look at it from that angle, did it?
Anyway, put that to one side. Yep. Morelos, some people still say that, you know, he's not match sharp yet. If that's the case, then he's got to play tonight, surely.
Yeah, even if he wasn't, he didn't start the last game. So for me, 100% he has to start. As Gareth said, you know, Wright, Davis, you expect to come in, looking at the bench, Yilmaz, Sands, Sakala, and maybe, you know, McCann. I expect also Tavernier to come out. You know, we've heard rumours that he's been struggling a little bit. I don't think tonight's a game for him. No. Yeah, I know, but
he's not going to say yes.
Yes, exactly. So no, but he has to start up front today. There's no doubt about it. Try and get 90 minutes into him. You know, you can train all you want, but you do need minutes on the pitch. You definitely need it. And as he said, you know, he started against Liverpool
and then doesn't play much of the following 3. Gareth, I don't know if you've seen this stuff. I don't know if you're much of a social media user. There was that video about James Tavernier at the weekend. Did you see it?
No, I never know.
So basically, Rangers put up a video of the team warming up at Fir Park, and it looked to some people like Tavernier was sort of grimacing and not moving too freely. Fans have been asking, is he playing through injury? The manager says no, he's absolutely fine. Is this the type of game you can get away with resting the captain?
Yes and no, but I think when you're playing Dundee, you've got to kind of respect the opposition. But like I think the panel said already, if Rangers do a less confident team going out and we get put out, then Gio's up for the sack. So why would you just put a strong squad out and hope for the best that we get through, and then we get an actual semi-final at Hampden, which would be absolutely amazing. So
yeah, I mean,
it's a good point.
Those of you though who've got better memories than me, how often recently has a championship team come to the Big Two in Glasgow and cause problems? I'd be interested to know. I'm sure there will be examples. It's not a loaded question. I genuinely can't remember. Also, just to correct something from earlier on, remember I said I thought it looked like a good crowd, and I'll take that back. You know, the way once the camera starts moving around,
panning out.
I think maybe some people have decided
it's difficult,
against
like
it.
you said, like
terrible
the time. Yeah,
it's a
the time
terrible
is
time.
so difficult.
Yilmaz, Gareth, are you keen to see him?
yeah, I think he should start. The money he spent on him, he needs to start because the young lad needs a chance. And to be honest, these kind of games must be good for him because playing at home as well. So we spent the money on him. So why is he sitting on the bench and keeping it warm?
It's a good question. That's 2 out of 2 for McCrory. It's 2 out of 2 for Yilmaz as well. Rangers fans, are you heading along to Ibrox tonight? Who do you want to see? Who do you expect to see? Give us all your pre-match thoughts. 01419511025. Still goalless, 27 gone. Motherwell 0, Celtic 0. If you're Stevie Hamill, you're probably quite pleased so far. If you're Ange Postecoglou, actually looks a little bit frustrated.
I think he's looked more animated tonight in that first 27. He's quite frustrated with maybe just a few slack passes moving forward.
Just a quick one to flag up for you. I know, Simon, you've got youngsters. This might be one for you in the family. The UK's first Level X is now open at St Enoch's Centre in Glasgow, bringing you the very best games and exclusive activities to the city. Ideal really for your next night out with the family or friends. We're talking high-tech golf, virtual reality experiences, bowling, next-gen arcade games, and lots more, all under the one roof as well. So all this week on Bowie at Breakfast, Cassie, who's covering for George, is giving you a night out worth £300 for you and your party at Level X. So listen to Bowie at Breakfast all this week to win. And back to the football quickly. Liam Kelly's just produced a very, very good save to stop Kyogo putting Celtic in front. More of your calls next.
0141 951 1025. This is Scottish football's league leader, Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
33 minutes gone at Fir Park. Motherwell 0, Celtic 0. Every time Motherwell got up the pitch, Celtic break very quickly. You can see what they're capable of, Simon. I also reckon, just quite simply, because of all of those numbers that you see on the scoreboard, the scoreline and the minutes played, you're probably happier if you're Stevie Hamill.
Oh, definitely. Stevie Hamill. Well, you mentioned it at the beginning about how Celtic look for a quick start, and they have had some really good chances. Kyogo's had 2 that you expect all day long to score. Kelly makes a great save for the second one, but you're still expecting a guy of that calibre to score those 2 goals. Of
all the footballing cliches, Marvin, I can never get away from thinking that goals change games is like the most relevant, the most important, because right now it feels like Celtic are off it. It feels like something's missing, and yet Kyogo's missed 2 absolute sitters, and they could / should be in cruise control.
Exactly. And I think on a couple of occasions as well, Celtic have got into that final third, and just the final pass has been a yard too long or 2 yards too long. So I said they probably should be 2-0 up. Nobody could argue with that. But looking at it now at 0-0, you're thinking Celtic seem to be stuttering, but Ange won't accept this. I think we've seen him on the side really animated. He's going to want more from his players if they don't score before half time.
Again, we're talking the quality of the chances, Simon. The first one is flashed across. Kyogo's right on the 6-yard line. He's got no pressure. He needs to kind of pick a spot.
It comes off his heel. I think I'd like to see it again, but I think it comes off his heel.
The second one, he's not much further out. He's maybe about 10 yards. With Liam Kelly to beat, and you have to give the keeper credit. That one was a good save, but again, he needs to score.
He's got to score. If I'm looking at it from a striker's perspective and a man of his quality, we've seen him. I mean, the first one, he scored a barrel load like that last year, getting in there in the first time finish. The second one, he gets the break of the ball off the pass and it's through. Kelly comes out, but again, you've seen him before lift it. He's tried to play it with power, and the keeper's made the save. But they're definite goals.
By his own high standards, is he a bit off it in front of goal at the moment? Now he's got 7 for the season, which is absolutely fine. But only 1 in his last. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 in his last 9, maybe something like that.
Just as you're saying that though, he's had those 2 chances, right? And he's had 1 off the underside of the bar. We could be talking about
that's why I put in off it in front of goal. I don't mean overall.
Listen, fine lines. I covered the Champions League game last week, and I didn't think he was at his best. But he could be sitting here, but he should be sitting here with at least 2 goals.
Yeah, it's 1 in his last 8, by the way. And if your memory's good, you'll know that one came against Motherwell at Celtic Park. So we'll see how he fares for the rest of the evening. We're about to speak to Andy on the line. Let's set the scene for Andy by checking in for the first time at Ibrox with Gabriel.
Thanks, Gordon. And yes, the question is, who will join Kilmarnock in the semi-finals at Hampden come January? Will it be 27-time winners Rangers or second-tier Dundee? Well, the Gers have won 4 of their last 6 games, but there are questions over Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's game plan from some sections of the support. Tonight is the perfect opportunity to attack and rack up some goals. We're expecting quite a few changes from Van Bronckhorst, perhaps Yilmaz and Morelos coming in, a chance for some younger players as well. It'll be interesting to see who he picks in goal. We're expecting team news in the next 25-30 minutes. What about Dundee? Well, they're 4th in the Championship. They come to Premier League opposition for the first time under Gary Bowyer. They've won 5 out of 5 in the competition so far. They could make a few changes as well from their 2-1 win over Ayr at the weekend. We'll just have to wait and see for the team news. I will bring you that as soon as I get it. Kick-off here is at 8:15.
Well, until then, Rangers fans, you can get your wish list in. Who should play? Who deserves a chance tonight? What are you expecting? Can you see any difficulty against Championship opposition at home? What does Andy in West Lothian think?
Well, I'm definitely looking for changes tonight. I tried to call in last week after the 7-1 result. I've thought it for a wee while that Tavernier's definitely playing through an injury, but the 7-1 game definitely confirmed it for me. Watch them in the second half. I'm 74 years of age, and I'm not joking. I could have taken him on over 100 yards. I've had 4 heart attacks, and I could still take him on. The man he's definitely playing through an injury. But so I'd get young Devlin in for Tavs. I'd have young McCrory in goal. I'd definitely play Yilmaz at left back. I'd have Morelos through the middle. My midfield, I'd have Arfield in again. Lundstrom is a dodgy one again. I don't think Lundstrom's playing at his best just now. Probably for a wee bit of digging, I'd probably have Lundstrom in there, along with probably Davis to control it. I'd have drop Kent, most certainly. Kent's just not been at the races for a while either.
Well, that's an interesting one. Let me get the guys' thoughts on that, and let me thank you for making Super Scoreboard history, Andy. I don't think anyone has ever came on and told us how many heart attacks they've had, so I hope you're keeping well. Thanks for that, dropping that bombshell on us. Marvin, Ryan Kent, is this a no-brainer? Leave him out the team tonight because he's not firing, or actually does it become the type of game that he might be able to get a bit of his confidence back?
Yes, from the manager of Rangers, I'm leaving him in. Definitely for 60 minutes of tonight's game. Yeah, wingers, attacking players, thrive off confidence. And, again, no disrespect to Dundee. He's going to have a lot of the ball. Whoever plays wise going to have a lot of the ball, have a lot of opportunities to go at your man 1v1. I think you leave Ryan Kent out there. As I said, if he can have a good 60 minutes, then perfect.
You see the logic in that, Andy? No, you'd rather definitely leave him out?
Well, I can see a bit of logic in what Marvin's saying. But in the same respect, if the guy can't turn up against the likes of Liverpool, his old team and all the rest, if he can't turn up against them, what's the point of him coming out in there and showing his skills against Dundee when we go and play Aberdeen or whatever it is and he goes back into his shell again? I mean, Marvin has got a big point there. To give him a bit of confidence, put him out against Dundee, and hopefully he'll skin a few of their players and that kind of thing that could boost his confidence. So you've got me tossing a coin on that one now, Marvin.
See, he's got you thinking. At the same time, then, to go back the other way, Simon, if you are Fashion Sakala or Rabi Matondo or Scott Wright, and you've been waiting for either a chance or more of a chance, and then you see Ryan Kent get named again despite being, by everyone's estimation, there's now not even a debate, everyone's estimation, out of form. Are you not thinking, come on, you know, when do I get my chance then?
Well, that's football though. That's it depends how important Gio values Ryan Kent to the team, which I think is one of their main players. But he's I watched the Motherwell game. He gets himself into great positions in the final third where he's got pace, he's got ability, and his first thought was to roll it back to Barisic. You know, safety, and that to me strikes a player lacking confidence. Now Marv, as the coach, is saying he would play him all. I would play him tonight because, well, I'd ask Marv as the assistant man, you go and get the job done in an hour tonight, but at the same time you kill two birds with one stone. If he performs, you know, if Gio wants him for the rest of the season,
you learn about Marvin. He's the most optimistic guy in the world. I've learned that. Is that big, just smiling and optimistic and happy all the time. The flip side would be Ryan Kent doesn't have a good game against Dundee, and then
you take him out against Livingston. Perfect.
I knew it was all part of some sort of plan.
There was an ulterior motive there.
Very quickly, Andy, because we're short on time, who's playing in goal for you tonight?
McCrory.
Everyone's saying that. Yilmaz, you expecting to see him?
Yes, just on that, Yilmaz playing up the left, going for, apparently he's a lad that can bomb forward. He might bomb forward and give Kent the ball and better positions and that kind of thing that might be better for him than Barisic at this moment in time.
Yeah, sounds like a bit of a plan. Thank you, Andy. 42 gone, Motherwell 0, Celtic 0, approaching half time, and it is time for us to do this.
Beat the Pundit with the Scottish Sun.
For the best football news and opinion online, thescottishsun.co.uk/football.
What a week it's been on Beat the Pundit. Just different types of drama, unexpected drama, things we've never had to deal with before. Let's see what tonight can bring. Motherwell on the attack, but it breaks down. If you want to play tonight, if you want to play Marvin Bartley or Simon Donnelly, the number you need is 0141 951 1025, and the lines close at 7.
Tackle the headlines. 0141 951 1025. Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
It is that time of the night when we play Beat the Pundit, but it's a slightly different show. We've got 3 big quarter-finals all over the place here, so let's quickly get a half-time report from Fir Park, and then we will bring in Sean and Wisher and play Beat the Pundit. Andrew, how's it gone at the end of that first half? Some late drama?
Yeah, there was indeed. Motherwell 0, Celtic 1, the half-time score. It looked as if it would maybe not be Celtic's half after being denied a good few times by a mixture of Liam Kelly, poor finishing and the woodwork, but Leila Bada's goal right before the break has them ahead. Celtic dominated early on, a couple of half chances, but Matt O'Reilly and Sead Haksabanovic both had shots blocked. The same happened at the other end then for Stuart McKinstry, who cut in from the right, and a huge chance for Kyogo, who really should have scored. The ball coming in from the right, he got there ahead of Liam Kelly, but somehow sent it by the near post. Kyogo then went even closer, this time a great effort outside the box, really good strike, but it came off the underside of the bar. He claimed that it bounced over the line, but that didn't appear to be the case. Abada had a follow-up header that was easily dealt with by Liam Kelly. They continued to push for the opener. Aaron Moy denied by Liam Kelly just a minute later. Then Stuart McKinstry had a big chance for Motherwell, but he blazed his shot over the bar. The ball was adjudged to have gone out at the byline in the build-up, but you really should have found the back of the net with that effort. Liam Kelly then pulled off a really good low stop from Kyogo, who found himself one-on-one with the Motherwell keeper around the half-hour mark. A frustrating half for Celtic, but the goal eventually came. They worked the ball into the box down the left. It was played across the face of goal, and there was Leila Bada arriving, as he often does, in the middle of the box to finish from close range. So the half-time score here at Fir Park is Motherwell 0, Celtic 1.
Yeah, it was a sort of trademark Leila Bada goal. Celtic fans, what have you made of that? Motherwell fans, you're doing okay in that first half. A bit of a sucker punch at the end. Sean's about to play Beat the Pundit. He won't mind hanging on for one more minute because we've got a Rangers team, and Sean's a Rangers fan, so I'm sure he won't mind. Listen to this from Gabriel and then give us a call to let us know if you think it's the right team. Gabriel?
Yes, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst has named his 11 to play Dundee, and he's made several changes. We'll start with the goalkeeper. Big call, bring back in John McLaughlin. It's the back four of James Tavernier, James Sands, Leon King and Ridvan Yilmaz. Midfield 3 of John Lundstrom, Stephen Davis and Malik Tillman. And the front 3 is Fashion Sakala, Alfredo Morelos and Scott Wright. The substitutes are McCrory, Cholak, Kent, Roof, Davies, McCann, Barisic, Arfield and Devine. I'll give you the Dundee team when I get it.
Right, what do you make of that, Rangers fans? Is that the right team for you? Who are you looking forward to seeing? Let's do this.
Beat the Pundit with the Scottish Sun.
For the best football news and opinion online, thescottishsun.co.uk/football.
Okay, Beat the Pundit time. What a week it's been after Roger Hanna's tie-break drama, losing on Monday, which was brilliant fun, by the way. And then last night we had our first case of stage fright.
Ooh.
Caller phoned in, he was ready to go. Bottle crashed. I could hear it from here. Actually heard it.
And what, just left?
Gone. So we had to quickly get someone else who came on, and he was as confident as the first guy was nervous. The answer, for instance, someone reminded me on Twitter today, it was like something about Ross County manager, and he answered it by saying, "Your man Kettlewell." You know, it's that type of thing. This guy had it all going on. He still lost, by the way. Or did he? Yeah, he did. He lost to one of those two last night. So let's see what Sean and Wisher is capable of tonight. How's it going, Sean?
Alright, how you doing?
Sean, how do you like Rangers against Dundee? You know, it's like a banana skin. Dundee are the big underdogs. Who's the big favourite on Beat the Pundit out of you versus one of these two?
Honestly, give any of them and I'll smash them.
Oh,
Wow.
love it.
Tough
Oh,
talking.
I love it.
Tough talking.
Wow.
Marvin is.
I still don't want to play,
That's
but
like a red flag to the that sort of stuff for you.
Simon will get him for sure.
Right, heads it's Simon, tails it's Marvin. Love that from Sean. It's heads. It's Simon.
Come on, Simon.
I think
Come on,
that's
Sean.
for the best, because see, if you were to beat Sean, you would never
Yeah.
let him hear the end of it. So let's give Simon some Clyde 2 to listen to, and we'll get the clock ready. Sean, it's pretty straightforward. 30 seconds, answer as many questions as you can, and pass if you don't know, okay?
Yep.
Good man. Right, 30 seconds then going on your clock, and the time starts now. What nationality is former Celtic player Thomas Gravesen?
Greece.
Name either scorer for Rangers the last time they won the League Cup in 2011.
Kenny Miller.
Name either Scottish Premiership club who signed 20 players this summer.
Dundee United.
Who scored Kilmarnock's winner last night?
Armstrong.
Who was manager of Dundee when they got relegated last season?
Pass.
Who's Motherwell's top scorer this season?
Van Veen.
Okay, let's bring Simon back. Simon, you got
Yes,
this?
yes.
Good. Ready, 30 seconds on the clock. Your time starts now. What nationality is former Celtic player Thomas Gravesen?
Danish.
Name either scorer for Rangers the last time they won the League Cup 2011.
Novo.
Name either Scottish Premiership club who signed 20 players this summer.
Pass.
Who scored Kilmarnock's winner last night?
Armstrong.
Who's the manager of Dundee when they got relegated last season?
Pass.
Who is Motherwell's top scorer this season?
Van Veen.
And name any RB Leipzig player who's scored against Celtic this season.
Nkunku.
Okay, what do you think, Sean? Did you smash him?
I did not smash him, no.
Oh, Sean.
Plot twist on Be the Pundit.
Sean.
Sean, I must admit, you actually turned out to be not too bad in the end, but I was worried for you after that first question. Did you say Thomas Gravesen was from Greece?
The film.
That's when I knew we were in trouble, right? It's Danish 1-0 to Simon. The last time Rangers won the League Cup, you had the choice of Jelavic or Stephen Davis. So still 1-0 to Simon. I would never have got this. It's just a guess, I think, for everyone. Who signed 20 players this summer? Marvin, it wasn't Livy, was it?
No, definitely not. Hibs?
Yeah, Hibs or Ross County. So none of you got that. You both knew that Daniel Armstrong was the goal scorer for Kilmarnock. Where are you, Kilmarnock fans? Come on, let's look back on last night. So 2-1 to Simon. Surprised that you both here. Right, just imagine there was he was a bit of a pioneer when you think about it, because there's a cost.
Remind me of the question.
Alright, the manager of Dundee when they got relegated, because there's a cost of living crisis and you're not really trying not to turn your heating on.
But he was talking
Remember,
about
he was going to go naked or
yeah.
hungry or not put the heating on or whatever.
Just as long as Sean didn't get it.
It was Mark McGee, none of you got it. 2-1 to Sean.
Sean's decent.
Sean's only up the road in Wisher, he should know his Motherwell knowledge. Kevin Van Veen is Motherwell's top scorer, so it's 3-2. It's not a bad game, but Simon had time for one more question, and in Kunku,
I had to dig deep.
Silva, Werner or Forsberg. So I'm afraid, Sean, it's a 3-2 win for Simon. Hardlines?
Nah, it's all off, man. End of the day.
It's
Close.
all
It was close.
at the
It was
end of
close.
the day. And Sean, I don't know if you're a tennis fan. If you are, then you've got a nice day night out on us for the full family. And if you're not, I'm sure you can pass it on to someone who will appreciate it. It's the Billie Jean King Cup by Gainbridge, the Women's World Cup of Tennis. Some of the biggest stars are heading to the Emirates Arena in a couple of weeks, 8th to 13th of November. There's more than 100 countries involved. Did you know it's the largest annual international team competition in women's sport? And it'll be right here in the East End of Glasgow. All this week we've been giving away a family pass just by playing, so Sean can go along to that. For more info and to enter, go to Clyde1.com. Another victory.
I'm very, very pleased with that. But no congratulations from my
No, I want you
big
to
pal
lose,
here.
I'll be honest.
I do think we should dock him points. There's been something bothering me about him since the start of the show. Can you guess what
Sean?
it is? No, Simon.
No.
Seriously, what is the studio notoriously bad for? The working conditions in here.
Oh, it's
my
extremely
jacket.
warm.
My
What's up
jacket
with
and
this
the
guy?
hat.
Jacket or the hat.
Listen, I've been out coaching kids since 9 o'clock this
Great,
morning. It was freezing.
but you're not anymore.
I know, but I'm getting old as
even,
well.
even to the
I
eye,
half expected your heating to be off as
I
well.
can see-
the current climate.
I can see a Tammy, a bobble hat. I can see.
Is it the colours of the hat that you're?
Well,
Because this is the first time I've watched a Motherwell game with you, and you were very stressed.
You've
in
got,
that
you've
first
got the hat on.
45 minutes.
No, listen, that's okay. I'm not that bitter. I can let you away with that one.
It's a neutral hat. It's
You've
just
got,
neutral.
you've got the jumper zipped right up to the neck, and then a big, proper, puffy jacket in the studio.
Plan
Losing
on doing a
proper
runner.
Do you know what's worrying me more than anything? It's not been too bad, but every now and then I can hear him rustle. I mean, this is radio, and it can be quite problematic. So
Stay still.
if you want to keep it on, stay still. That's all I've asked. And then, by stark contrast, your man here,
I know he's just
in
out the
shorts
gym.
and
He's
t-shirt,
putting us to shame here.
ignoring the fact that it's probably the coldest day since last winter. But anyway, there we go. Right, 01419511025. I was going to say it's a weird show tonight, and I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Well, it's always a weird show, but I mean because of the kick-off times. Right, it's half-time Motherwell Celtic. We are half an hour away from Aberdeen Thistle, and an hour still. What a late night it's going to be away from Rangers Dundee. So Gabriel just gave us the Rangers team. Rangers fans, this seems like a good time to respond to that. Yilmaz plays, McLaughlin plays in goal, Ryan Kent doesn't start, Morelos does. Are you happy with that? Who are you looking forward to seeing tonight? Pick up the phone please and let us know. And it is also half time at Fir Park. We've not really had the chance to reflect on it fully. How would you sum up the first half with your Celtic hat on, Simon Donnelly? Literally and metaphorically.
It's a neutral hat, I told you that. No, Celtic have had a lot of chances. The game's been quite open. I think Kyogo have documented gilt-edged chances. Should have had a couple. But a nice work goal from Celtic's point of view. A nice 1-2 Taylor. And I was touching on the point of how good Abada as a young kid getting into those areas, those dangerous areas. How many times do we see it? You know, the desire to go and get yourself a goal. It's a tap in the end, but if he doesn't, make that run, he's not there. So he'll be happy with that. And yeah, they go in leading at the break. I think it's deserved.
The obvious challenge for radio is having to paint the picture and tell the listeners, describe how the goal went in. This one's really easy, Marvin, because already Lila Bada has a type of goal.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's the one where it's squared across the face and he bursts in at the back post, beats the left back to it, and gets an easy finish. For a guy who's so young and relatively new here, he does it all the time.
Absolutely brilliant, but it's, they're a well-drilled team. He's not a winger that's just watching it build up down the opposite side thinking the ball's nowhere near me. As soon as Taylor gets into that position to play the 1-2, he's on his bike because he knows what's going to happen. Taylor's going to receive the second pass, square it, and he puts it in the back of the net. But from a Motherwell point of view, Stevie Hammell will be really frustrated because he would have showed his players, this is the run you have to watch. This is a trademark goal of his, and to concede one, there's nothing more frustrating than a coach if you've covered it.
And to make it slightly different from some of his others, it's not really on the break. Motherwell have everyone back in the box. It's this kind of second and third phase. They're not clearing the ball. I think McKinstry slices it. McGinn's header's not great, and when it falls to Taylor, it's a 1-2 in the edge of the box. and everyone's all a bit flat-footed from a Motherwell perspective, aren't they?
Exactly, and that's why people talk about being proactive and reactive. Abada in those sorts of situations is proactive. He's on his toes, he's on the move. As a defender, so you try to react to that, you're in trouble. You're always a step behind him, and you know what he's going to do when he gets to the end of it. He's putting it in the back of the net.
Yeah, 7th of the season for Liel Abada. Again, he's actually not
That's
scored.
7 already for him, is it?
He's actually not scored in a while either, though. Before tonight, his last goal was the double against Rangers.
Yeah.
He's not scored since.
Yep.
And like a lot of good goal getters, Simon, he's been pretty quiet. I don't think we've not focused on the game for every last minute of it. We've been doing other things, but I don't think we've mentioned them. I don't think we've seen much of them.
He's actually had a couple of loose passes in good areas on that right hand side. I think we spoke about it. I think he tried to find a Tati early on in the game, and he had too much on it, so he's not really been in the game. But I've covered a lot of Celtic's games over the time he's been there, and he's a great knack of that run. As you say, you're now describing it as an Abada type goal, but you know, it's for a young boy as well, you know, to recognise the situation there and get in and score. And he's got 7 already this season.
And I did say, of all the football cliches, this is chief among them, about, you know, goals changing games. The psychology, if you're Motherwell, Marvin, of losing a goal at that point in the game, because actually they would have been feeling really good about themselves at half time, but for, 90 seconds before the end, or a couple of minutes before the end.
Yeah, most definitely, but you know, it's not like it's come against the run of play. And you know, the only positive I think for Motherwell was to say it's only one, you know, because I think Celtic have had more chances. They've been, as I said, a yard or 2 yards too far in front of the players. So Motherwell need to up their game. They never have one shot on target in the first half. They need to up that if they can get back into it.
I'm just thinking, but in the lead up to the goal, the ball got fired off the face of Aaron Moy, and he actually needed treatment. I think his nose was all burst, so really the goal shouldn't have stood, because it should have been stopped for a head knock, shouldn't it?
Tell who you support. No, play on.
No. Alright, okay, bear that in mind. 01419511025, that's the phone number you need. He's not shy at making changes at the break sometimes. Ange Postecoglou, very quickly. Andrew McLean, any changes at the interval?
Nope, no changes for either team, so it'll be the same starting lineups that started the game, and Blair Spittle is standing over the ball at the moment, and we are ready to get underway for the second half.
There we are. You would have anticipated Celtic winning before kick-off, I'm sure. Do they just kick on from here?
Most definitely.
Any obstacles in the second half?
Yeah, I think Andrew says to them, listen, tied up in that final third, because you'll blow Motherwell away. You know, they are creating chances, or they are creating controlled entries into that final third. It's just that last little bit, and you know, that'll be the easiest bit for them to sort out.
Yeah, they may well go on and win this really convincingly, and then it changes and he won't get asked about it anyway. Why should he? But you're right, Simon, he actually did look a bit more frustrated than normal in the first half, didn't he?
Every time I looked to the camera panned in on him, I don't think he looked content. Frustration, and I think, you know, just a wee bit of carelessness with the final third. The final ball was Motherwell break.
Oh, and it's a good save from Benjamin Siegrist. He's in the team tonight, of course. We don't get to see him too often for Celtic. He's had a quiet night, and that was a really good effort from Matt Penny. He just took it off the toe of Juranovic, drilled it from outside the box. Is it going in the bottom corner, or is it just sneaking past? Either way, Siegrist gets down well, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's a very good save.
Just on that Ange point there, you know, and we're saying he's frustrated on the side, he's a perfectionist. You know, he is a perfectionist. He wants the best all the time, and that's the reasons that Celtic have played at the levels they have in some games this season, because he won't accept anything else. It's not just happy to win, it's the way they win.
What do you notice about him on the touchline? You get closer than most do. He's not a ranter and raver, is he? And he certainly doesn't, you know, kind of shout at the ref or anything.
No.
Like
He's very calm. He's one of those managers who seems to want to control the controllables. He knows he can't control the officials, but what he can control is his players and how they go about their game. And listen, at times he'll let the players know if they're falling off the standards set by him, you know, to be at Celtic Football Club, he'll let them know regardless of the score. You know, you can be 0-0, they could be 3-0 up. He will let them know.
Is he somewhere in the middle? Right, let's go for, well, your manager is probably the most talkative in the league.
Yep.
Or Stephen Robinson, maybe Robbie Nielsen. Some other managers say next to nothing on the touchline. It's not their style. Where's Ange on that scale?
I think he's very close to next to nothing.
Is he?
I think he does his work during the week, you know, and that's why he doesn't need to be on the side ranting and raving. His players are well drilled. They're very, very good players. He trusts them to go out there and do their jobs. But if he has to step in and say something, you know, you can tell every player kind of looks across and says, right.
I think what you say, I think his levels. I've seen, you know, urging the team to go and score 5, 6, 7. There was I think it was Raith Rovers in the Cup last year.
That.
My God,
you
he was
could
loud.
hear it in the stadium.
I was sitting behind the goal with my kids. You could hear it, you know. So I don't think he's shy in letting people know if they drop their standards.
01419511025. Rangers fans, what do you make of that team? You're getting to see Yilmaz from the start. Morelos leads the line. No Ryan Kent. It is John McLaughlin over Robbie McCrory though. Does that disappoint some of you based on the earlier calls we were getting? Do let us know right now. It's a great time to call. We'll also preview Aberdeen Partick Thistle, and I'll keep saying it, come on you Kilmarnock fans, you're through to a semi-final. Why not give us a call and let us know how good it was?
Taking your calls on Scottish football. 0141 951 1025. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
These are unprecedented times which call for unprecedented measures. No full-time teaser tonight. I just think we're too busy. There's too much.
Yeah, I agree.
You would. You're so bad at it. Too many moving parts. We've got a lot to do. 53 now gone. Motherwell 0, Celtic 1. If anything, I mean, maybe Motherwell slightly the brighter in the second half. Would that be fair?
Yeah, I think they're pressing a lot higher up the pitch. You know, you've seen Celtic play it out 2 or 3 times already. They seem to be more aggressive with what they're doing. Probably belief is growing as well. And they're trying to spray the ball around the pitch. Or they just hit that one out.
Twice though they've tried to spray it and kicked it straight out.
It happens, Gordon. I've played in there, mate. It happens.
Oh, I've seen you. So keep the calls coming in on that usual number. We will preview the Aberdeen Thistle game and of course Rangers Dundee as well. Let's do that because we gave you a Rangers team but we didn't give you the Dundee team. Gabriel?
Thanks, Gordon. Gary Bowyer has made 3 changes from the win over Ayr at the weekend. The team is as follows: Adam Legends in goal, Cammy Kerr, Ryan Sweeney, Jordan McGee and Jordan Marshall on the back 4. Tyler French and Joe Grayson in central midfield with Luke McCown, Josh Mulligan and Lyle Cameron behind Zach Robinson. Up top, substitutes are Lawler, Jakubiak, Byrne, McGowan, Ashcroft, Rudden, Anderson, Strachan and Ossay. I'll just give you the Rangers team again. They made 7 changes from the weekend, whilst Kemal Roof is back on the bench for the first time this season. John McLaughlin is in goal. James Tavernier, James Sands, Leon King and Ridvan Yilmaz are the back 4. A midfield 3 of John Lundstrom, Stephen Davis and Malik Tillman, and a new front 3 of Fashion Sakala, Alfred Morelos and Scott Wright. The bench is Robin McCrory, Cholak, Kent, Roof, Davies, McCann, Barisic, Arfield and Devine. The referee here at Ibrox is Willie Collum, and kick-off is under an hour away.
Did we get the chance to even reflect on that Rangers team? There was so much happening at the time around Beat the Pundit. I think most of the callers are getting what they want. They wanted Yilmaz, they're getting him. They wanted Morelos, I think they're getting him. The last caller wanted Kent left out. Got that as well.
Somebody wanted Wright as well.
But they've all wanted McCrory in goal, so that one will have to wait for another day by the looks of it, Marvin.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised at all by that decision. You know, Robbie is a great goalkeeper, and in time I expect him to become Rangers number 1, but I think at this moment in time he's definitely firmly number 3. I think he's signed a long-term contract because, as somebody said earlier, they see him as a long-term successor to that number 1 jersey. So I'm not surprised at that. But listen, there's a few players being given a chance tonight, especially obviously the front 3 all changing. So it's a big night for them. Davis obviously coming into midfield as well will add that kind of control to it. And I'm surprised Lundstrom started. I really am. I thought he's looked a little bit leggy of recent. So I am surprised he started in there, but obviously, maybe Gio, as Simon said earlier, get the game won, and you can afford to rest 1 or 2 more. I think everyone knows the size of the challenge when we're hearing the Dundee team. Simon, we know that they're in a different league, quite literally. They're going to Ibrox. Dundee's last 2 away games have been a draw at Arbroath and a defeat at Cove. Yeah. So you're talking, it's going to be a superhuman effort to go to Ibrox and upset Rangers tonight. Yeah,
listen, I don't want to be disrespectful to Dundee, but I don't see anything other than a Rangers win. And you look at the team there, there's a lot of changes. The front 3 should be hungry. Goal at Fir Park, and it is Leela Bada's second of the night. Motherwell had started the second half brightly, but that might just be that. Motherwell 0, Celtic 2. Liam Kelly's complaining he felt someone was obstructing his view, but I also wonder if that's because he's a little bit annoyed at himself for punching the ball out when he maybe could have caught it or punched it better, because it was a shot from the edge of the box. I think it was Abada to start with. So Kelly makes the first save, gets down low, and then he has to, in fact he's made about 3 or 4 saves in the one passage of play, but it's the last one that maybe just catches him out, and he kind of parries it out to the penalty spot, and Abada sticks it away. It's a lovely finish. First time, but he's
got to do better there.
Yeah, he has.
he can't parry it into that. That's the danger area.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a goalkeeper, but that is a zone you don't parry it into. You know, and listen, someone of a bad quality is always going to do that. But he has to push that to his right hand side.
Who'd be a goalie? Seriously, he's had a very good game, and then
I'd still be shouting at him. I don't care. They're there to save it.
You're like that, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Horrible.
And again, Simon, talk about if you've got any chance against the big two, getting your big moments right. Motherwell probably felt pretty good about the first 10 minutes of the second half, and then that's a gut punch.
Yeah, Celtic hadn't created a great deal. Siegrist had come up with a save, and when you were talking, I was just about to say it's 1-0. As long as it's 1-0, it doesn't matter who's playing. There's a chance there, but that's just made it an even harder job now, I think, to overturn the 2-goal deficit.
Right, we'll look back on last night, because Kilmarnock are already there. They've all got their feet up, just waiting to see who joins them in the semi-finals. Let's give you some early team news first ahead of, well, it's not even that early, sorry, Aberdeen Partick Thistle. Dave Galloway.
Well, Aberdeen are determined, Gordon, to make Hampden appearances a habit under boss Jim Goodwin, who says they should expect to do so every year. They've got a good recent record on their own patch, with 3 successive victories, and a win tonight would clinch their first League Cup semi-final appearance since 2018. But Partick Thistle, who've not reached the last 4 of this tournament for 47 years, come here without fear and full of confidence. Ian McCall's Jags are top of the Championship on goal difference and have a number of players with top flight experience. Aberdeen make 3 changes. Bazawin, Coulson and Kennedy are in for Richardson, Barron and McKenzie. Looks like they have reverted to a back 4 tonight. Roos in goals, McCrory, Stewart, Scales and Coulson at the back. Clarkson and Ramadani, the sitting midfielders, with Kennedy, Bazawin and Duke behind the main striker Majowski. The subs: Lewis, McKenzie, Morris, Barron, Watkins, Duncan, Richardson, Milne and Ramirez. A couple of changes for Partick Thistle. In come Tiffany and Dowds. Out drop Fitzpatrick and Graham. Snedden is in goals. At the back they have McMillan, Muirhead, Holt and Milne. Doherty and Bannigan the sitters, with McKinnon, Tiffany and Lawless further forward. Dowds leads the line tonight. The Harry Rags substitutes: McCready, Brownlee, Graham, Smith, Hodson, Weston, Akinola, Mullen and Fitzpatrick. And your match referee at Pittodrie Stadium is David Monroe.
What about that stat? Partick Thistle have not reached the League Cup semi-finals since the year you were born, Simon Donnelly. How old does that make you feel?
1927.
Rub it in, guys. It comes
He's
to us
horrible.
all. It comes to us all.
You're right. You are right. We'll all be standing in the puffer jacket in 50-degree heat soon.
I'm not sure what month that was played. You're a December, but you were probably just born. There we go. But, that's what.
No, it's a great opportunity. Partick have started the season really well, scoring a lot of goals, and there's 1 or 2 boys in that team that were there when I was there. Bannigan, he's been a great servant for the club. It's not a free hit, but there's no pressure on them to go and, what a chance to get to a semi-final. And I think they'll run Aberdeen close tonight.
What a goal that is.
That was
from
FIFA.
Rayo Hatate. The ball is squared across. He's about 3 yards out, but he has to dance round Liam Kelly very quickly. He rolls it one way and then in the same motion just sticks it into the bottom corner.
It's like a 5-a-side goal.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That really
great
is
skill.
brilliant. And what a player he's turned into be, by the way. I think everyone's speaking about Jota and other players. I think he's the one that I think you can look at him now and think,
that's brilliant.
Yeah, he could. Like, Premier League teams in England could be trying to get him away from the Celtic part. Not saying it would happen, but he's a great player.
How's your composure, Simon?
Oh, it's excellent. It's excellent. Listen, sometimes these things like passes that he tries don't come off, but he sees the pass and he's got no fear to go and try and play that difficult pass. Sometimes it's maybe not on, but he can open things up, and that's just a bit of personal brilliance.
We all know the golf as Oliver Abelgard comes on. We know the golf, Marvin. It is nothing new. But this probably sums it up, because Motherwell probably feel like they've done all right. Do you know what I mean? It's not like Celtic probably haven't been vintage. Motherwell have done okay. They look like they're coping within the game. 3-0 down, and this could turn into anything from here.
But we did say that. We did say, Andrew will be saying to them, just, tied up in that final third, and you will blow them away, because the chances are created.
I think he's maybe even had a go at them at half time.
Yeah.
Just the way he looked in that first half, he's had a little go at Celtic.
Right.
But ruthless there.
I'm going to stick my neck on the line here. Celtic will go through to the semi-finals. Where they will be the first team to join Kilmarnock. Simon's a Kilmarnock fan. That must sound nice, Simon, being in the last 4 of the League Cup.
Oh, it's lovely. If you just hold on a second, I'll take my claret and amber scarf off in disappointment at Motherwell's performance tonight.
Letting everyone down.
No, but absolutely delighted to get through. It was a really good performance, a really strong performance, another really good home performance from us. I think that's other than the Celtic game, which you can obviously write off. We've not lost at home since March, so we're a really strong home team, and I think that's going to be the form that sees us through to staying in the league this season. But yeah, I thought last night was excellent. The team starting to click into gear, and it's really good to see that the optimism that the Kelly fans kept, even when the results weren't maybe going our way, starting to pay off, and we're back to Hampden. I can sit with my feet up and watch the 2 games tonight and see who we get in the draw.
So talk to me about Daniel Armstrong. He might not be a household name to non-Kelly fans, Simon. I mean, he will be now, obviously, after he was an answer on Beat the Pundit. But before that, I think that's him up to 6 goals for the season. How key has he been recently?
Yeah, he's been fantastic. He didn't even start the season really as first choice on the wing. To be honest, in the summer he was one of the guys I think most Kilmarnock fans, myself included, would have been happy to see move on. He wasn't really getting an opportunity, but he's always had the talent. He looks like he's a confidence player. Apparently Derek McInnes said he's been doing one-on-one sessions after training with Chris Buck, who's now in the coaching staff, which obviously will help you because Chris Buck's a fantastic pro and was a great player. He looks like he's playing with confidence, and him and Jordan Jones are linking up really well. Two kind of similar players, both playing on each wing, and happy to cut inside and come in at the far post, which Danny Armstrong seems to time really, really well. But he's undoubtedly got talent. You could have seen that last season when he did get his opportunities. He just never really had he was never able to really just put a run of games together or a run of good form together. But it's great to see because he's got all the attributes to be a good winger in Scotland. He's fast, he's tricky, he's technically gifted, he's a decent finisher, he's good runs. Just putting that consistency together is really good to see.
Well, he was the match winner last night. He was the match winner against St Johnstone in the league a couple of weeks ago, Marvin. So a real key role for Kilmarnock at the moment.
Most definitely, and he's a player that I've seen up close and personal, obviously with us playing Kilmarnock not that long ago. And I agree with everything Simon says there. He does look a fantastic player. Another player, I think, Jordan Jones, for me, obviously he's had probably a tough 18 months or a tougher last 18 months than he wanted to have, but for me he's a player, if you can get him fit and firing, obviously he's brilliant for Kilmarnock before making his move. Again, I think him coming into the team is no coincidence. Things are starting to look up a little bit, and watching Lafferty and Doidge as well yesterday was a good partnership, and not one that many people would probably put together. So fair play to Derek and his coaching staff. The
10-year anniversary of your League Cup win against Celtic, Simon, is that some sort of omen, some sort of sign?
You never know. I'm just looking forward to the draw. I think most Kilmarnock fans would say that Aberdeen or Partick Thistle you would take, but to be honest, I just want to avoid Celtic. I'm not really too intimidated by Rangers. I think their season's fallen apart quicker than the Liz Truss government, so we can take them, I think, at Hampden. But Celtic have the ability, when they click into gear, as you're seeing tonight, and as you saw at Rugby Park, to absolutely hammer you. I don't think Rangers have that potential. I think that Rangers are obviously a good team, but they're more solid, and Celtic have the opportunity to go and do those kind of 4, 5, 6-0 games, even more than that. So I think just avoiding Celtic in the semi-final, and then in a one-off final, you never know what could happen. But it's just a shame we've got to wait till January, because it's going to be a long wait.
See who says Super Scoreboard can't do all political jokes as well, from Simon and Kilmarnock. We've got it all covered. And it only feels like a couple of weeks ago Gordon DL asked me in the office who Liz Truss was, which a lot of people might be asking in a couple of weeks, to be fair, so maybe he was ahead of his time. But like that has to be it, Simon, in the studio. We've got it's different priorities. Celtic and Rangers are dealing with the pressure of you simply have to get close to winning this in the eyes of the fans. For Simon, on the line 10 years ago, he'll remember it like it was yesterday. That this competition can be one of the great chances for the so-called smaller teams to give the fans one of the best days of their lives. Yeah,
100%. You only have to look to the likes of St Johnstone, who won the 2 cups. It is the best opportunity for teams like Kilmarnock to go and get some silverware. You know, they've suffered last year with relegation out of the Scottish Premiership, got themselves back into it. And yeah, they're obviously toiling a wee bit in the league, you know, sitting in third bottom, but, you know, what a result last night. And Derek McInnes, many times has he been in semi-finals with Aberdeen and finals with Aberdeen, you know, so yeah, I can see where Simon's looking for a kind draw. But it's great to be there. It's going to be an occasion, both semi-finals at Hampden, it's going to be an occasion for the Kilmarnock fans to go along to.
Absolutely. Kelly are there. Well done to Simon. I can't see Motherwell joining them. 3-0 down, 67 minutes gone at Fir Park, and Celtic look like they could possibly add to that. We are 5 minutes away from kick-off between Aberdeen Thistle, and incredibly still 35 minutes away from kick-off at Ibrox. It's a late one for Rangers against Dundee. So let me just tell you about this then while we get the chance.
Super Scoreboard European football coverage with MoyerandSweeney.com. The top team for your defence.
So a bit of a break then for European football this week, of course, as we focus on the League Cup, but we'll be back with a bang next week, and thanks to Moyer and Sweeney Litigation who are keeping us going as sponsors of our European football coverage this season. Now, to celebrate, they're giving you the chance to win a 60-inch Samsung 4K Ultra HD TV, which looks very nice for watching European football on, by the way. So if you fancy that, go to Clyde1.com. You can find out a bit more about Moyer and Sweeney, who've got your back from the most minor to the most serious of legal matters. You can find out more about them, and that's also how you enter for the chance to win the 60-inch TV as well. So thanks again to Moyer and Sweeney Litigation for sponsoring the European football coverage. Next week it's the same as it was in the last round of fixtures. 2 late shows. Tuesday it's Real Madrid against Celtic in the Bernabeu, and Wednesday Napoli against Rangers in Naples.
Number 1 for football in Glasgow and the West. 0141 951 1025. Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
In the closing stages then, 20 to go. Motherwell 0, Celtic 3. It's Motherwell on the attack. Celtic made a triple change just a moment or two ago. James McCarthy came on. Who else was it? It was Maeda came on, and remind me of the other.
I think it was just the two.
Was it just the two?
Yeah, McCarthy and Maeda.
So Abelgard had came on earlier on. Rio Hatate's gone off. And it's a very comfortable night for Celtic now, Simon.
It's turned out that way, yeah. Just after half time, when it's sitting 1-0, as I said, it doesn't matter who you are, Celtic or whatever. If it's 1-0, anything can happen, especially in a cup tie. But they've put this game to bed with a great finish from Abada again, and then that bit of brilliance from Hatate for the third goal.
Motherwell have created nothing really, Marvin, to be blunt about it. So that's obviously it's going to make life difficult for you. They've been brave enough at times on the ball. They've knocked it about okay, and then obviously it looked for a while that they would snuff Celtic out. But this Celtic team is just so confident when they attack, aren't they, that it can turn very quickly for you. Yeah,
there's a massive belief within that team, and there's no real panic if they do miss chances. They know they'll create more, and there's nothing better, I imagine, for an attacking player knowing that you're going to get more chances. People like Kyogo, Abada at the top end. Yes, we say in the Champions League they have to be more ruthless, but domestically they know these chances are going to keep coming and they're going to score goals. And like you said, it's 3, but it could be 5 or 6.
Motherwell still trying to knock it about. They're the ones trying to come forward at the moment, but I think the flag is going to go up. Kevin Van Veen knows he's not even going to chase that one into the corner, and it goes through to Benjamin Segree. So we are now underway, Aberdeen Partick Thistle. So I'll give you any updates on that game early on. Banana skin for either of you? You're going to back the Jags, your former team?
Yeah, listen, I've got a soft spot. I had a right few good years at Partick Thistle, so I would love to see them get there. It's a difficult game against Aberdeen, who have had another good result at the weekend against Hearts, but I wouldn't describe it as a banana skin. They're top of the Championship. I think it'll be a tight game.
Marvin, slowly but surely Aberdeen building up a bit of home form. I think they're 3 league wins in a row for the first time in quite a long time.
Yeah.
Jim Goodwin saying at the weekend, he wants to add on the road to that, but that would come at the right time for them then. A little bit of belief at home, just in case there are any anxieties about a Championship club coming there and beating you on your own patch.
Well, exactly. They're just starting to motor now, aren't they, Aberdeen? And that would probably be the worry for Partick Thistle. I'm actually going to disagree with you and Simon. I think Aberdeen could blow them away today.
Yeah,
I really do. Yeah, I just think they're just starting to click into form now, into really good form. And oh no, it's going to be 4-0.
Yeah, it's off the post, but Kyogo's going to
It's
score. The offside flag, I think, goes up.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. It just didn't really celebrate. Motherwell 0, Celtic 4. I thought we were getting a Lila Abada hat-trick. It came back off the post, and there was Kyogo to tap the ball home. It's a really comfortable night now.
I think it was relief, the celebration, the fact that he hasn't got on the score sheet up until now. He really should have 2 or 3 goals under his belt, but he breaks in here. It's Maeda again, it wins it back, plays it into Abada, who's onside.
Motherwell's offside trap
comes back and it's a finish.
Well, how do you describe a trap that doesn't catch anything?
It malfunctioned there, didn't it? Kyogo, right place, right time.
Yeah,
got that bit of luck that he needs, and going on probably
and
never
do you know
scoring
what?
one. Now.
A man who's been criticised is Maeda, but it says, the bit you're always getting is the tenacity, Simon. So
energy there.
He steals it off McGinn and then slides it in.
McGinn looking at Maeda coming on at this particular moment of the game, he'll be thinking, my goodness, I've got to chase this guy because he's not going to stop. He closes down, forces a mistake, and pops a little pass into Abada for the initial shot. But yeah, the strength and depth, you can get to that stage of the game and bring these guys on.
Lots of Motherwell fans leaving. Some
Gordon
left
and
after the third. Gordon's been spotted sneaking out. No, genuinely.
Has he?
I've just had the message.
Will'll still be there. He'll be.
No, because
they go together.
Like peer pressure. He'll make him go.
Right. Okay.
He'll drag him along, and he'll be parked at his house.
You'll get another picture shortly.
No, he's been spotted sneaking out. Apparently, one of my trustiest sources,
Big Brother,
has spotted him sneaking out. So there we go. He'll pretend tomorrow that didn't happen.
Yeah.
When he comes in here, he'll be giving you a big rundown of what happened in the last 13 minutes.
You'll need some more evidence. Another picture.
What is the point, right? And I'll put this to him tomorrow. For a start, it's only 10-8. It was a 6:15 kickoff. Secondly, he lives 2 minutes away from Fir Park. He could barely be closer. Thirdly, there will be absolutely no traffic to beat. So
I would suggest
what's the thought process
back
here?
for a heat and the Rangers game starting shortly.
Or say he needed a bath or something.
But again, the Rangers game still got 25 minutes. He could do it all. He could make it.
Yeah.
Wednesday is his bath night. You're right.
Exactly.
Motherwell felt they maybe should have had something in the box. I think Cornelius has gone into the book. Was that for his complaints?
No, he made it as a tackle.
Was that a tackle?
Yeah.
Sorry, on the break afterwards. So Celtic in cruise control. Any goals yet to Aberdeen? I don't think so. And we're in the closing stages then of the build-up to Rangers Dundee. I feel like, based on our calls, very democratic process, if there's one player above all else that Rangers fans are excited to see tonight, I think it might be Yilmaz. Is that fair?
Yeah, most definitely. As I said, that left back position's probably up for him to try and grab. So then just to see what he can do. As I said, and Rangers fans have said as well, like the money you've paid for a fullback, and by the way, he came and people were saying this guy is the real deal. Yes, he's young, but he's a really, really good player, and he's just not shown that yet for Rangers. So they'll probably be hoping tonight is the night. And somebody mentioned earlier, obviously Kent isn't playing, it's right playing higher up. But if Yilmaz can be that overlapping fullback, that might help Kent when he comes back in. Because I think at the moment with Barisic backing him up, it's easy to double up on Kent, or easier. I think when you get a fullback going around him, it makes it a lot more difficult. So let's see what Yilmaz can do tonight.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. I'm sure the Dundee fans go there and hope and dream that they can pull off that big cup shock. Again, maybe these fixtures can allow you to build up a bit of a head of steam. I'm just looking at the exact portion of the Fir Park pitch that Malik Tillman made his own at the weekend without too much defending being done, we should say. So again, keeps his place, Simon, because he'd gone from looking like he could be a main part in the team to the lesser spotted man. But I wonder if this is the
he comes with a good pair. He comes with Bayern Munich, and I think scores a couple of goals. Was one of them not in Europe, the header?
PSV,
and seemed to start really well, faded away, but he must take some sort of confidence from the goal at the weekend. Yes, it opens up for him, and I don't think he could have believed his luck, the way everything opened up for him. He took it well. If he keeps his place, but I think that the front line there, Dundee at home, quarter final of the cup, these guys should be hungry. They should be hungry to go and score goals.
I just think in terms of the Tillman stuff, I think he's been misused at times. you know, watching him play, and obviously, listen, I don't see him day in, day out, but I think he's a number 10 when you are going to dominate the ball. You know, I think putting him wide in some of the games in Europe, and I think against Celtic as well, he also played wide. It's not his game.
Yeah, passed him by.
Yeah, exactly.
Games like tonight are probably ideal for him to go and...
He'll flourish. You expect him to flourish tonight.
They were obviously damaging because he then, when you say misused, he then wasn't used on the back of that in any position.
Of course, because your confidence goes. As we spoke about attacking players and confidence. I think a number 10, when you're going to dominate the ball, I think he'll open up defences, expecting that to start tonight.
Yeah, well, speaking of attacking players, the Motherwell back line's conceded 4 times, could have been more, and they've just watched Georgios Giacomakis come on, so that'll be good fun for them. Haksabanovic took a little bit of a knock though. Maybe get a report from Ange Postecoglou afterwards. Josh Morris has come on for Motherwell at 4-0 down. That's not the ideal scenario for him. Sean Goss going off, and Barry Maguire coming on as well. So teams making changes, but no doubt about it, Celtic going through. The question is it going to be by 4 goals or even more? It's 4 at the moment, and about 10 minutes to play in that one. Anything doing at Partick Thistle up at Aberdeen yet? Still goalless there. And of course 20 minutes away from kick-off between Rangers and Dundee. So what's the final 4 going to look like, Marvin Bartley?
Well, obviously Celtic are going through.
Right, okay.
Rangers and Aberdeen to join them.
Simple as that.
Yeah. No,
Rangers and the Jags. Come on, the Jags.
There we go. We upset for Simon up there at Pittodrie. I think that's pretty much us. It's been a bit of a weird show. I would apologise. It's obviously not our fault. The kick-off times are all over the place tonight. But the good thing is they'll all be done by the end of the evening, and we can look back on it all tomorrow. So we'll find out what you made of the night's action. Giacomakis just on, and he looks in a bit of bother. He's clutching the bottom of his back, so we'll see how he is. But whatever happens, we look back on it all tomorrow in the company of Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel. So please do join us. Thanks for your calls and your tweets tonight. Johnny Campbell is up next.
Clyde One's Super Scoreboard podcast with Taggart's Land Rover, part of the Lookers family. Great deals on new and approved used Land Rovers. Search online.